start back at the online real quick, everybody, so give us 2 seconds here. Okay,
We're good? All right.
yep, we're good.
I make a motion to approve compensation to David Reha in the amount of $19,773.68, to Catherine Geisinger in the amount of $32,239.99, to Daniel Irving in the amount of $19,939.65, and to Shane Martinson in the amount of $13,223.03.
Okay. There's a motion on that. Motion by Caps,
I'll second.
second by English. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
English?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. All right, we're gonna take a quick break before we start into the regular council meeting. So if you guys can bear with us, I know you've been patiently waiting, but give us a couple minutes here. Council member Caps really needed to use the restroom.
Bringing 2 drinks to every meeting.
She's double fisting it up here. Yeah, I don't. We're.
That'd be a big percentage, but I'm not sure.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we're all good.
I said, oh, that's fine, I'll change it. So I have a diaper bag. Yeah, I'm not gonna give them. I'm told her, you guys watching this, I'm trying to figure out what we're changing.
About being able to legally shorten discussion and
No, I'm just gonna roll around. Yeah. Hold on.
Unless you want them.
right up to Reformation and he's $5,000 per occurrence, and they documented everything.
It was just. Yeah, so we didn't even get sick, but that's good.
All right, before we get started, if everybody can silence your cell phones, pagers, radios, that would be appreciated. We'll call this meeting to order. Stuart City Council, tentative agenda, Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, 6:30 PM, council chambers. Call to order. Caldwell, Caps,
Here.
Ingers,
Here.
Nelson, Russell.
Here.
Okay. If you're able, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Need a motion to agenda approval?
Make that motion.
Motion by Ingers,
Second.
second by Russell. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. Consent agenda, approval minutes of 3/9/2026 and minutes of special meeting of 3/25/2026 and special meeting of 3/25/2026. Approval of financial statements as of 3/31/2026. Approval of bills as presented. Approval of liquor license. Your private bartender, the All Saints, the Saint Center event, excuse me. Need a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ingers,
Second.
Second by Russell. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay. Public forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Speaker shall provide their first and last name and town of residence. The council, my gosh, I can't talk tonight. The council shall not take action during the public forum. Public forum is open. Do we have any comments? Okay. We'll close public forum. Old business. A, review and consideration of cemetery committee bylaws, revised. I'll turn that over to Mrs. Capps if you have anything to add, or?
So this has now been approved by the attorney. He had no further changes, so we just need to bring it back here one more time to get our approval, and then Mr. Johnson can get to work on his committee.
Any discussion on that? No discussion? Okay. I'll take a motion on that, if I could please.
Make the motion?
Motion by Russell,
Second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay. B, citywide transition to stuartia.gov, email domain, and other city IT services. I'll turn it over to Mr. Russell.
So I put together a request for proposal, got it sent out to everyone, you should have it in front of you. This, again, is just what we're gonna put out to bid, and so all the information in it is basically to talk about, this is what we're looking for from a vendor to provide for us to set up the 365 email domain tenant, and how to configure it, and potentially give us an idea of how many licenses and the overall cost, depending on how we wanted to proceed once the quotes came back, whether that be, again, I provided options, different things in here, paying by month, paying by year, and different options. Basically, the big difference would be using Microsoft Teams or not using Microsoft Teams. So that would just be like your instant messaging client that they could use to talk amongst the other staff members. I know the police department had interest in that, along with the higher level Teams, the business standard with Teams for the police, because that provided them with a non-web-based version of all the Microsoft Office products. Sarah, does the city already have Microsoft Office that they use here, or?
Most of our software is very old
Okay.
on the computer.
Okay, that's what I figured. So I just didn't figure out what that was. So basically what I had provided on the city side was just to be using the web versions of that, which 99.99% of what you guys do, it's gonna cover every scenario with that. That's what most people are using anymore. I mean, if you use Google Sheets, Docs, anything, or you use Microsoft Online on the web, you're already using it. So I don't see any issues there unless there's specific reasons, obviously can be looked at to do that. I mean, those obviously require a little bit further investigation, but this just kind of breaks down what we're looking for, potential cost with that, and some of the must-haves that are part of that, you know, with the EMS department having HIPAA compliance, which also would translate over to CJIS compliance with the police department. If it's configured for HIPAA, pretty much it's gonna match with them. I know they've got their own rules that they follow with what they can and can't do electronically, so they're kind of covering themselves there. But there would be some further safeguards in place on the email side should something happen. Yeah. So if you got any questions on that, otherwise we could look at working with, I don't know if that would be you, Sarah, or Matt, or somebody to get this, I don't know how we move forward to get this pushed out, to reach out to a few vendors, or what do we do? If that's the direction the city would wanna go.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that would be easy enough to do that, if that's what you guys all, and your intentions, or however you guys wanna go about it, so. Okay,
How much time do you think is reasonable to allow them to put together a proposal?
I mean, something like this, I mean, they're not gonna need a lot of time. I mean, you know, getting response back, I mean, we could do 2 months. I mean, this is nothing we gotta rush and have done in a week, so if we even said 2 months, I mean, a month should be sufficient, but
Okay.
2 months would be fine too, so. And again, there's more discussions I think we can have in the future about future things, you know. Do we need to look at talking further about IT services or anything like that. I know we have a service provider, but do we look at providing, getting some direction around that to make sure we have a quarterly, biannual, yearly audit or something of the PCs, just to make sure they're updating and we're not putting ourselves in a situation, those are talks that we can have in the future. But obviously, this is just email focused for now.
Okay. Any more discussion on that? How would you guys like to proceed?
Do we need a motion to create and post an RFP? Okay, I would make that, motion that we use Craig's template here, and that we post it as an RFP.
Okay, moved by Caps,
I'll second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
C, resolution number 26-06C, resolution to designate as a no parking zone both sides of Southeast 13th Street, also known as 110th Street, east to corporate limits. So, this is the road just on the very south side of Quick Star that we're talking about here, so. I'll need a motion on that.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by
second.
Russell, second by Caps. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. D, resolution number 26-07C, resolution adding additional stop intersections. Is there any questions on that? I do have one thing that I would like to bring up that, and this is just my 2 cents. I would almost question this South Madison and Southeast 6th Street intersection there, if you guys know where that's at. I don't know if you guys have drove around and looked at these, but I would almost raise a little concern making that T intersection, putting stop signs there, but I don't recall myself if there's ever been any accidents there. If there's been a problem, we do have city guys in here, we do have the police chief. If there is problems, we can ask their opinions on that, but I don't know about that one, I guess. That's my 2 cents. I get being proactive and trying to have safe streets for everyone, but I would almost like to see, is there data involved that prove to me that it's unsafe, I guess. And maybe I'm going about this wrong, but if we haven't had a problem, I guess why put stop signs there? So,
I'm guessing there's already a traffic control device on one of those intersections at the T or
yeah,
on
there is.
the main drag.
Are you guys familiar with this?
I'm not familiar with
Okay.
that one.
So this is gonna be the street that goes, where Hometown is, that goes clear out to the South Pond,
Oh, okay.
where the brush dump is.
Okay.
So, let's see, it'd be 1, 2, 3, what is that, 4 blocks down? 3, 4 blocks down. Luis just bought, a property on the corner. It'd be on the east side of the road there.
Sixth Madison.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
That's
that's,
not Madison.
No, that's not, I'm sorry.
It is.
Oh,
It's,
yeah,
yes,
yes, it is,
yes. It's Madison on the Stuart side and it's 105th on the Adair
on
side.
the Adair side, yeah. But you guys, it's totally up to you guys, whatever you guys wanna do with all this.
this is the list that was brought last time, right? Did we talk to this? And they shared all that, the information last time?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a strong feeling. I'm fine with it. I'm fine without it.
So if you're going to change it, then we will table it, tell me the changes you wanna make, we will retype it, and we will bring it back. But it's not like the agenda where you approve it with the change.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, does the chief or street department have any reasons why this was picked out?
The biggest reason was the overgrowth in the ditch come midsummer. So that's why, and you're not gonna see that currently.
Yeah, there's just issues with vision, it's a blind intersection, so.
Okay,
And you just be adding the one stop sign
Sure.
at that intersection. There's already a stop sign north-south.
okay, okay. I mean, I guess I don't see any issue with that.
That's totally up to
I don't mind
you
that.
guys, whatever you wanna do.
Okay.
Okay.
I would make the motion to approve the resolution as is.
Okay. Motion by Russell,
I'll second that.
second by Caps. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingworth?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, E, All Saints Cultural Center lease. Let's pause for 2 seconds here, so we're not trying to overtalk the train, because we won't win. Okay, so you guys have received the lease for the Saint Center. And you have received the email from the city attorney. So all we need is discussion on that and a vote. Guys have any questions?
I think I have questions about the insurance and who should hold it, but I feel like that's addressed in the letter from the attorney, so I don't have any more outstanding questions. I can move forward.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, if there's no other discussion, need a motion for that?
Well, would make,
You're not changing anything,
Yes.
so you don't have to make a motion.
okay.
Oh, okay. So we're good with that one?
Right.
Okay. All right. Move along to new business. Stuart Fire Department, Fire Chief Stephen Martinson. Turn it over to you.
Oh, this should be pretty simple. We had our officers' elections, so we just need approval on all of that. And then also you should have had a list of our most recent pool passes that we're requesting. There should have been 11 or 12 of them on there, so just need approval for that as well.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Fire Chief? No? Okay.
Can it be one motion?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept and approve the 2026 Fire Department officers and the requested pool passes.
All right, motion by Caps,
I'll second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes,
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
thanks, Steve.
All right, B, Hometown Pride Community Program, Regional Application. Brenda Dudley of Midwest Partnership. I'll turn it over to you, Brenda.
So I am Director of Midwest Partnership, which is economic development, and also Director of White Pole Road. This idea started with White Pole Road because our board was older, and we got a lot of newer, younger members, and they're excited to do things. So this Hometown Pride is a program under Keep Iowa Beautiful, and thank you to Matt for presenting it last month. But we applied and we were accepted. They accepted 3 different regions, so we're kind of competing with 2 others. But I was really hopeful that the communities along White Pole Road would join this. And what it is Keep Iowa Beautiful provides 75% of the funding, which is $60,000 a year, and then the communities provide 25%, which is $20,000 a year. So obviously, the more communities we have, the cheaper it's gonna be per community. So with just White Pole Road, that was only 5 communities, so I've broadened the corridor of White Pole Road. Panora, Greenfield, Orient are also interested, so right now I have 5 communities that have actually confirmed, and then I'm trying to get 3 more, so 8. So what I'm asking is for approval to join that. It will cost, I'm not gonna say for sure $2,500. It's a 5-year program, but it's the $20,000 divided by the communities. And what we get from that is, so back up a second. Each community would identify a champion in the community, and then that we would form a committee, and then those people would, with all the communities, would hire a coach. So the coach is being paid the $80,000, which we are providing, and they work with the communities 1 meeting, maybe 2 meetings a month, and they do projects for the community. The committee decides what they want done. So some communities do beautification or sidewalks, landscaping. Others do restoration of buildings. Like one community, I guess, restored a community building. So it just depends upon what the communities choose. And this coach helps form the committee. The coach helps find grants, helps write the grants, helps drive the ideas for the committees. So I think it's a really good project. There are 10 others in the state. Pocahontas County was one of the first ones. They started 13 years ago. After their 5 years, they continued with the program. They used their own money to keep the coach and keep working. So everybody I've talked to that has done this has really had really good things to say about it. So I think it's $2,500 if I get all 8 communities, but if not, naturally it would go up a little bit more. You have the information in your packet. I also came with a resolution that you would need to sign. One person from the community needs to fill out an online application, and then I fill out an application including all communities, so mine is more lengthy, but as I said, there's 3 communities applying for this, but they were really interested in the byway. They don't have a byway in it, so that kind of piqued their interest, so I feel like we have a really good chance of getting this. I just need the 8 communities to commit.
Anybody have any questions for Mrs. Dudley?
So would we be putting in that 2,500 per year for 5 years? Is what we'd be agreeing to?
I've tried to, I've talked to SEED about it, I've talked to the chamber about it. Some communities, I believe, are splitting the cost between everybody. Others are just the city's paying for it, so it's kind of a decision. Nobody else has really shown a lot of interest, so I'm hoping the city will do it.
And that would be the maximum amount. If you have 8 communities, it would go down?
Yeah. 8 communities would be the 2,500. On this resolution, it says that sometimes people drop out, so you need to be aware that if a community would drop out, your price would go up, but, yeah.
Are you saying they could drop out a year from now and then our price would go up, or are they locked in, there's no backing out for 5 years?
She said some people even drop out before it even starts. They confirm that, yes, they're interested, and then once it gets right down to it, they back out. So
Okay.
she said that has not happened very often at all, but there's a chance of that.
Sure.
And I think this committee would work with, like our revitalization committee and hopefully SEED and the chamber and who else is, if we could pull people from each of those committees to work together on this new committee.
Is there an opportunity if the fee, if people did drop out, towns did drop out, and is there an opportunity that we would be able to share that we just don't have the resources to cover the additional money?
I'm really hoping after the first year that people see that this is a really good thing, because like Guthrie Center, they have Main Street Guthrie Center, so they said, no, we're not even interested, wouldn't even look at it. And I think some of the other smaller communities, so I think if somebody would drop out, and I've also asked Dexter, who's not in our 2-county region, I'm really hoping that I could get another community to step in and fill that spot. But, I mean, no guarantees.
Yeah.
I did apply for the hotel motel tax. But they don't, Keep Iowa Beautiful doesn't like that because it's not a guaranteed income for 5 years. You know, possibly they would cover it this year, but maybe not too, so, and that was just submitted today.
Okay.
And I feel like I probably will be the one spearheading that and working with the coach and trying to get everything organized.
So we join this group, they hire a coach, the coach puts together committee, and then projects are decided upon, and those projects are paid for either by grants, donations, or funds from the city or citizens.
Yes, and she said on average, each community within the 5 years completes 20 projects and they raise $200,000. You know, that's average. She said a couple communities are up in the millions and do a lot more projects. Some or are, depending upon the project. I mean, if you're
Sure.
gonna revamp a community center, that's probably gonna be your only project, but.
Yeah.
And there's, as I said earlier, there's 10 other regions that have this, so that coach has that network of people to check with and get ideas from and, you know, exchange ideas and get ideas and.
Have any other cities approved resolutions?
I have not gotten anything back in writing, but Panora is on board, Greenfield's on board, Orient's on board, Adair, Casey are on board. Menlo showed up at our meeting, so I'm hoping that they are on board, and I really hope that Dexter is too, Stuart. You know, and if we can get grants and stuff, 2,500 is not much if you can get projects completed in grant money and all that they promised to do.
Yeah, I agree, 2,500 isn't much. I guess my only worry or concern is knowing that communities could leave and then then we would have to make up that difference, so that's just.
I also have in the back of my mind that I want to go to like Adair, the grant and Guthrie grant, but she said, don't say that in your report because it's not committed every year. So hopefully if we could get some of that funding, it could help with the cost.
Okay. You guys have any more questions for Mrs. Dudley?
Is there a deadline? Do we have to make the decision tonight?
May 15th is the deadline. I need all the communities to fill out their online application, and I need to fill out an application by May 15th at 5 o'clock. So yeah, there is a deadline. And then within 3 months, we'll have picked the coach, and then the projects and the committees start working.
Has there been any thought or identification on committee members for Stuart? I mean, okay, so we don't even have.
Kind of hope the chamber, but I'm just guessing. Nate Westry is actually on the Keep Iowa Beautiful board, so he's very familiar with what's going on and part of this. I was just at the Rural Iowa Summit too, and there was a lot of talk. Some of the communities that do this were there and said good things about it.
When's the May meeting?
The 11th.
Can we table till then and you come back and maybe tell us other communities are committed?
Sure.
And you said you have the resolution, you will leave that with me?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, fantastic, thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brenda. So we'll just table that then to the May meeting. All right. C, proposed EMS advisory committee bylaws. Turn this over to Rescue Director Caps.
Good evening. I don't have much to add. This is just following up on the EMS Advisory Committee discussions we had in December. Finally had time to put some bylaws together, and once we get approval, we'll start getting the ball rolling.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Caps? discussion?
Do these go to the attorney for review now?
I would recommend that.
Okay. All right. You guys want to accept that? I'll need a motion for that.
Make a motion to accept the bylaws.
Okay, motion by Ingers.
Does that mean this is going to the attorney for review?
Right, so
Yeah.
Okay.
you would wanna approve it subject to,
The approval of
yeah,
the attorney.
the
Okay.
attorney, yeah. And then if he finds any issues with it, it will just come back to you with those revisions.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
just make sure that verbiage was included,
Yes.
so. I would second it with that.
Okay, second by Russell. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, D, resolution number 26-10C, resolution supporting the Exploration Learning Center community project funding request and conditionally authorizing the city of Stuart to serve as lead applicant and fiscal agent. Mrs. Guile is here. Do you have anything to say, or is Matt
I
gonna
think
talk?
Matt
Anybody?
is gonna start, I
Okay.
think.
Submitted a memo, it's in your packet. The Exploration Learning Center has applied for a federal community project funding, CPF, through the Congressman Zach Nunn's office to support development of a child care facility in Stuart. CPF funding requires a government entity to serve as the lead applicant and recipient of funds. So in a sense, the city is a pass-through. So. This project has received an initial federal interest. No funds have been awarded, no formal commitment has been made by the city. Based on communication with the congressional office, the city would likely serve as a fiscal agent, receiving and dispersing funds while the nonprofit is responsible for the project implementation. And so if the city serves in this role, the responsibilities may include receiving and dispersing federal funds, ensuring compliance with federal requirements, basic financial oversight and reporting. So, looking for, my recommendation is to approve the attached resolution supporting the CPF request and conditionally authorizing the city to serve as lead applicant, fiscal agent if awarded, and authorize staff to continue gathering information and defining roles prior to acceptance of any funds. Resolution is provided.
Mrs. Gao, do you have anything to add, or want to say anything? No?
You know, I guess would want to say, obviously, childcare has grown a lot in the last 5.5 years here in Stuart. We started out very small with a 30 capacity and very quickly grew. We have an 82 capacity center right now sitting in downtown, which is split up in 3 different buildings. It's not necessarily conducive for our staffing and being able to manage this space, as well as being able to offer families just that central location to be able to drop off all your kids in one place. You know, you're having to stop at multiple buildings. So we are currently in the process of working our way over into a nonprofit from our current sole ownership LLC. We have our board members here as well with us. So in that transition, we were able to find this really great grant opportunity. We have some land that we are currently looking at to being able to put that building still here in Stuart. But as part of this grant funding with the appropriations through Zach Dunn's committee with the federal department, they do have to have that government fiduciary for us to be able to work with to kind of do those checks and balances with us and make sure that everything's being done right and pass that money through. So we want to continue to grow. We are looking at continuing our growth here from our current 82 capacity to setting up our center to be 125 capacity to be able to better serve Stuart's growing population and the increased housing market here. So.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. How do you want to pursue?
I'd make a motion that we approve resolution number 26-10C, resolution supporting the Exploration Learning Center Community Project Funding Request and conditionally authorizing the city of Stuart to serve as lead applicant and fiscal agent.
I'll second that.
Motion by Caps, second by Russell. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. E, wastewater operator, John Welker, grade 3 operator certification. So John did take his test through the DNR, and he has passed. That is wonderful. So just need a motion on that to,
Actually, that's just for your
oh,
information.
just information?
Yeah,
Okay.
you already approved his pay increase upon passing the test when you hired him, so
Okay.
we're very happy for him.
Congrats, John.
Yeah, very good. All right, F, rock and sand prices. I'll turn this over to Josh Renslow. If you guys have any questions for him, but he did a very good job kind of spelling this out, so, if you guys have any questions, or if Josh has anything to add?
I think it's pretty well spelled
Yeah,
out
I
right
think
there.
so.
I didn't have any
What you
questions.
guys had. So, the minimum is on there, I believe at, $30, and that would be barely breaking even. So if you guys want to raise that, keep it the same, however, it doesn't bother us, it's just wanting to bring it to your guys' attention, so.
It just wasn't feasible enough for the city to operate on the $25, so.
And then also, I believe there may be something on the sand at the bottom of your guys' memo as well.
Mhm.
Sarah brought that up after the fact, so, we'd like to raise that as well. We don't sell too much, but if we do, it's at least in writing.
Yeah. And Mr. Renslow was just providing just references here, so you guys can do whatever you want. If you wanna put a little bit more, that's totally up to you guys. So he's just kind of bringing on what it's kind of costing the city, so.
We do have some individuals that will probably buy a whole truckload
Mhm.
throughout the year, which is kind of abusing it, but it's also nice to offer that to the citizens.
Absolutely.
Guess I didn't realize we did that.
Yep.
Yep, have for forever. So,
And today I learned.
and that's only on, I mean, as long as we have it at the shop, I mean, we're not gonna make a special trip to the rock quarry for a couple scoops of rock either, so. No
So
question.
Is the $20 sand on our sheet, is that what you think we should move it to, or is that what it currently is?
Sand's pretty cheap. The ice control sand is what we buy, it's non-filtered. The filtered sand is considerably more, but that's not what we have, so I wanna say it's like,
It's 14 right now is what we
Yeah, I
charge
want-
for a scoop of sand.
I
Okay.
wanna say it's like $13 per ton, so I mean, you're not making it, you're not doing this to make money,
Sure.
but we shouldn't be losing money either, so.
Yeah.
So yes, I would recommend, upping that to the 20 or $25 for that portion.
Good. Any questions for Mr. Renslow? Any other discussion? I will leave it up to you guys.
We need a motion to,
Yeah.
I make a motion that we, begin charging $30 per scoop for rock and $20 for sand.
Okay, moved by Caps,
I'll second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. All right, G, renewal of agreement for building official services with revised building inspection department fee scheduled. B&K, I'll turn this over to Jason.
Guys, Jason Van Osdol, Eastern Kim, your building official. This is Adam Holliday, your local building inspector, if you guys haven't had a chance to meet him. This is a renewal of our contract. We've been your building official now for, I'm not sure how many years, but at least since 2012, so a very long time. So this is a chance to streamline our contract a little bit, take care of some language deficiencies that were out there in the contract.
and to make things fair and equitable for both parties. And open to any questions you might have.
Any questions for,
Now, I know that last year at some point, we had talked and discussed about changing the fees for permits and all of that. I mean, do we have, is this kind of related to all of that?
This is related.
And do we kind of have the idea of where that's been sitting? Because I know there were concerns about, are we charging enough? Are we gonna fall real short?
You've been sitting about 20% below
Okay.
where the surrounding are. So this brings you up just about to that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Jason, do you happen to know time-wise, like how much time do you spend on a shed permit or a garage permit or a
Great
fence
question.
permit?
Yep, with Shelley Stravers being our permit tech and the headquarters leader of our troops, we are able to make use of our time much better than we were before. So when we get called out for concrete, a deck footing or a sidewalk or whatever the case may be, then we're gonna throw into that sheds all the little things that burden us throughout the year. We can throw all that into it because she drops that into it and is waiting for that chance to do that, to make him really happy to go out and find all those out. So yeah, good question.
any other questions for Jason?
Nope.
All right, how do you want to proceed with this?
I would make a motion to approve the agreement.
Okay, moved by Russell,
A second that?
second by Caps. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everything,
All right. H, Tri-Center Association Congregate Meals Annual Contribution Request. You do have two things in there from Mrs. Avey, asking for $2,000 for the congregate meals.
So
And-
Kim's not here tonight,
Mhm.
but she did approach the utility board. Typically, the city council will give $1,000 and the utility board will give $1,000. We were looking back over the records and there was no contribution made in 2024. So evidently they just forgot to ask that year. So the utility board did approve giving $2,000 for this year as well as $1,000 for the contribution that was missed in 2024.
Okay. You guys want to take any action on this?
Yeah, I think it's important.
All right.
I would
Mhm.
make a motion that we contribute $2,000 for this year and the $1,000 for 2024 as well.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Caps, second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, I, neighborhood speed limit signage, Wumboldt area, turned over to Mr. Funk.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I believe you skipped one. H was actually supposed to be city proposed budget. Looks like-
That was
Oh, that was-
the.
Okay,
agenda
oh,
for
it just,
Monday.
it's labeled differently, so every one of these was just labeled different, so
Oh,
I just
Apologies,
made
yeah,
those.
that's what we took care of Monday night,
Okay.
yep. Thanks for bringing that to my
Thanks
attention,
though,
though.
Daniel.
Yeah.
You up front.
All right,
Details important.
turn this over to Mr. Funk.
A resident in the Wumble Second neighborhood has repeatedly brought to my attention about speeders along Northeast Second and is requesting speed limit signs. So I prepared a memo, put it in your packet. I didn't have time to, at the time I got this additional email, I was preparing my items to go in the packet, prepared this right quick and threw that in there. So I have not had an opportunity to discuss it with anybody. I do know that there is police cars being driven by the area. There's a couple of police that live on Northeast Second Street. So I'm quite confident that there's plenty of patrol, but when the police are not around, there's some speeders. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I didn't prepare a resolution, nothing like that. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss it with police chief and public works, but there's a request for speed limit signs.
And is there any, I mean, I've drove out there a lot, but I don't pay attention. Is there any speed limit signs out there?
No, there isn't,
No.
but it's, I can't recite the law about it, but it's pretty standard, I guess, that if there is not a posted speed limit sign, that it's 25 mile an hour from what I've read and heard.
Sure.
That, so.
Chief?
Yeah, the law is 25, in residential areas that's not posted. So it's pretty common, cities don't typically post in residential areas
Okay.
because it's a state law.
And have you or your officers seen an uptick in speeding out there at all?
Not necessarily, but I mean, I don't know what happens when we're not there.
Sure.
We do patrol a lot, so.
Okay. All right. You guys have any questions for Matt or police chief?
Yeah, direction, or you want me to chase this down any further, or just leave it that it's been mentioned?
I would say just leave it, I mean, it's not like we have signs anywhere really populated entire cities, so.
No action taken? Okay. All right, thank you for that. Don't go anywhere, Matt. Okay, residential tax abatement, rehabilitation, and remodel programs. Turn it back over to you.
At the March 9th City Council meeting, it was requested that staff gather information regarding how other communities structure residential tax abatement programs for rehabilitation and major remodeling of existing homes. Purpose is to provide a general overview of how residential rehabilitation tax abatement programs are commonly structured in other communities and to seek council direction on potential next steps. Based on a review of similar programs in Iowa communities, minimum investment thresholds typically range from $20,000 to $50,000. Abatement generally applies only to the increase in assessed value. Programs often require substantial improvements, not minor cosmetic work. Abatement periods for rehabilitation projects are commonly 3 to 5 years. Application and approval typically occur prior to construction, with final valuation confirmed after completion. Examples from other communities: the city of Perry includes both new construction and rehabilitation. Minimum investment approximately $20,000 increase in assessed value. Rehabilitation abatement 100% of value added for 5 years. New construction typically receives a longer abatement schedule. Boone provides tax abatement for residential improvements, 100% abatement on added value, and I couldn't quite make out the capped amount. But apparently that's for a 5-year duration as well. Many communities use tax abatement to support both new housing and reinvestment in existing housing. Rehabilitation programs are typically structured to encourage meaningful improvements to aging housing stock, and communities often structure rehabilitation incentives differently than new construction. Requesting that whether to explore development of a residential rehabilitation tax abatement program for Stuart, desired level of incentives or limitations, and whether to return with a draft policy and ordinance for consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Fong?
So who decides what substantial improvements means? Is that something we would previously define? Is there examples from other cities that define that? That's
I could
tough.
either try to put something together and bring that before another city council meeting, or I could, if 2 of you would be willing to work with me on it. It's up to you.
That would be my big question. I mean, what, replacing carpet or, replacing flooring, is not really an improvement, but it can cost a decent amount of money.
Right.
That's not really a substantial improvement per se.
Compared to gutting a house.
Yeah, and that's not
to
gonna
the studs. Yeah.
improve your assessed value either, so. obviously kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels. Yeah, that's the question.
So, well, some of them here had a minimum of 20,000. You know, the range could be higher than that. You can make a minimum at 50,000.
I mean, I wouldn't be against the 20,000, which is on average 10% of, you know, a low-end cost of housing these days, about. What is our, does anybody know off the top of their head what our verbiage is for new construction? It's such and such up to 75,000, or what is that verbiage? I can't remember how it reads.
Yeah, it was for 5 years.
Yeah,
It was 75,000, yeah, for 5 years.
okay, for the first 75,000 of the value.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would probably put that, probably something similar, you know, cap it at that value, you know, a minimum value of this, maximum value of this for the 5 years.
I think this came from a citizen. I think
Yes.
there is a desire for this sort of acknowledgement for the hard work people are doing in our older neighborhoods. So I would like to see you come forward with a proposal that does maybe get into the weeds a little bit more, that explains what substantial is, gives a proposed, you know, threshold. So I think it's valuable, and I think it is meeting a need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you need someone to bounce ideas off of, you can always reach out to me.
Okay.
Glad to discuss.
Okay.
There's no issues with that.
No, and I think Jason Van Alsdale, I think
Yeah.
he'd be a good
Yeah.
resource too. He could probably guide us
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
So, okay. All right.
Thank you.
That'll work. All right, number K, American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Day is Saturday, May 16th, 2026. Mr. Avey was just asking if he could entertain the intersection up here to sell the poppies. We advised him to reach out to Street Department, Mr. Renslow, and Police Chief Rehal. I don't know if he has or not, but he's going to talk to you guys to make sure that it was perfectly fine by you guys as well. So, just need a motion to approve that he can do that, I guess.
I'd make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Russell, second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes?
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay. Humboldt Third Edition mowing reimbursement request of $7,075. That is reimbursing seed. Matt, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No,
It's pretty much
stick the
laid
memo
out there.
in your packet there. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to read it. But essentially, short of it is that contingency money has always been kept aside on all of the housing projects. On this one here, I specifically asked for an amount dedicated to mowing, and Chip was able to specifically dedicate at least 20,000.
Mhm.
So in the event though, it's not programmed or forecasted to go that high, but in addition, in the event if it was to be higher, the contingency funds would still be available for that. But at this particular time, there's $7,000 from last year's mowing expenses that seed paid for that should be reimbursed to seed.
Okay. And provide us information here, what does seed pay for mowing? It's for the whole area out there that's not occupied by housing right now, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So all those empty lots out there, and I know last year, John Schwinger, he mowed it periodically, not like every week, just to keep the funds down a little bit. He was watching the money on that too, so he did a very good job at doing that and just kind of keeping the weeds back and everything. So, and that's what it's going for.
Yeah, so, yeah, John was watching it, in the other housing developments, sometimes people would call and complain, and then, so he'd get out there then, but he is pretty cost conscious about it. He's not doing this to, he's not trying to earn a living off of the city. He's doing it on a as needed basis and trying to stretch out that time for when it's done. I mean, if there's complaints about it, he'll address it and get it done sooner, but at this time, I think the level of service has been quite adequate for it, trying to keep the cost low.
I'd make a motion that we reimburse Steve the $7,075.
Motion by Caps,
Second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. All right, number M, Planning and Zoning Commission appointment. Did receive one application from Alan Wiedemeyer. He lives out on Folly Street. And he is interested in planning and zoning, so with your guys' permission, I'd like to appoint him.
I'll make the motion to appoint Alan to the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Motion by Russell,
I'll second.
second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, we got another application for.
I was gonna ask, can you tell me what the number of planning and zoning is up to now?
That is going to be, 1, 2, I think 5,
5? Okay.
I do believe,
At
Yeah.
7.
out of 7.
Out of 7.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we got some more room to go, but we're gaining. All right, the next application I have is the Board of Adjustments appointment. And I would like to appoint Sharon Irock. She lives on North Harlan Street, with your guys' approval.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Sharon Irock to the Board of Adjustments.
Motion by Caps,
Second.
second by Russell. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
And Russell?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, ordinance number 26-01C, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Stuart, Iowa, 2016 by revoking the sections 63.044B and revising sections 63.032B regarding speed regulations, first reading. Need approval on that, unless you guys have any discussion on that.
If you'll remember last time we talked about, what this is doing is it's removing the 45-mile-per-hour speed limit zone when you come into town on White Pole Road from the west, and it is making it a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit zone. That's what all that means.
So the goal was to slow traffic down before they get to Adair Street. And just for them intersections, that was the goal.
I would make the motion to approve ordinance number 26-01C.
Okay, moved by Russell,
I'll second it.
second by Caps. How do you vote? Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. Try to make this quick. Turn it. All right, for the mayor's report, I did attend a Good Egg Days committee meeting last month. My wife and I attended that, and we had a good time. And they're good group of people putting Good Egg Days together. So we enjoyed our time with them. I did also attend, or have been attending, bi-weekly leadership meetings that we have here at City Hall. I've been gathering the department heads, and we've been having leadership meetings. We just meet in the room behind us, and it's very team building, very productive. We're getting a lot out of it, and we're making some changes and for the betterment of the city. So very pleased on how that is going. So that is very cool. I also attended the Adair County Conference Board meeting last month. We're also making progress on property cleanups. And I do want to mention Stuart Cleanup Day is scheduled for next Friday and Saturday, not this Friday and Saturday, next Friday and Saturday. And please see the flyer for more details on what you can and can't bring. Community wins. The opening of Ruthie's Uptown this past month. Got another spot in uptown business, that is up and going, so that's good. A shout out to John Welker for passing his grade 3 sewer test, which we talked about a little while ago. A shout out also to Josh Renslow for passing his grade 2 sewer test. And those guys are very much so working hard to improving. And with this happening, with John passing his grade 3, we could discontinue use of a third party to help us with the sewer system. So we eliminated that cost. So John is up and going and taking that on himself. So and another huge shout out to all the departments. They're coming together more than ever. They're strengthening their teams together with one another. I wish that the community can sit in my chair every once in a while and watch the department heads and watch City Hall and everything. We've come a long ways in the last couple months, and it's exciting. And I think all the department heads and the department personnel will agree with what I'm saying. So we're making good strides. So very fortunate. So that's all I had for the mayor's report. I'll turn it over to Deputy Clerk Sarah, if she has anything. None? Okay. That was easy. And you guys all received the department head reports. I did tell them today, we had a leadership meeting today, that they've done a phenomenal job filling out their reports. It's not just one sentence type liner. So they're actually informing the council and everybody what's going on in their departments. It's very exciting to see how everybody is team building with their teams. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And everybody else should too. So we've made some long strides in these last few months. So good work out of everybody. Anybody else, council members, do you have any reports, anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I have a quick update on the handbook committee. So we've been working with department heads to revise the employee handbook. It's been going really well. We went through 3 drafts pretty quickly in an effort to keep this moving along, knowing that our handbook has some critical areas that need addressed. So today we met and we got permission from Corey for Sarah to send it to our HR consultant for a first view. So just take a look at what we have. Is there anything missing, anything that we need to further define? And then it'll come back to the committee of department heads again to make any revisions that are suggested. Then it'll go to the attorney. So we've got a little bit of work left in front of us, but it's really great. I think that that it's going to end up being a much better document than what we have had to date. And then also just a quick update on the EMS Advisory Council. So just as a reminder, the Guthrie County Supervisors are working on the EMS as an essential service. Again, it went to vote last election, maybe last election, or the one before, and it did fail in the county. So this is a 75-cent levy on property for EMS services. And there is a group of 7 of us that are meeting. And my only update is this is going to be really slow. They do not think this will go to, if a levy is decided that that's the route, it wouldn't be on the ballot until 28. So probably will be radio silence for a bit. Or 27.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was like, wow, that's almost 2 years, over 2 years.
So it might be radio silence for a bit, but we'll just keep having representation up there and see where it goes.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? I do have, I'll take one more tap back here. So just be transparent with everybody. So just to let you know where Marquita is at in the hiring process for the city administrator. Application materials are due by May 17th, which is kind of around the corner, by 4:30 p.m. And this is all tentatively is what her schedule is here. So she would like to perform Zoom interviews for candidates May 20th of this year. Finalist interviews May 30th, and that will include community tours and public meet and greet. And she's kind of hoping that employment will start 30 to 45 days post-employment agreement approval. So we're kind of looking into maybe roughly kind of into that July timeframe, just to kind of give you guys, keep you guys up to date on that. So if anybody was wondering, but that's, and things could change. I'm not going to hold her feet to the fire on this, but she's holding her own feet to the fire. So she knows that we want to keep moving as a city with that. So just to let everybody know on that too, but I don't have anything else. If anybody, if we're all done, then go ahead and meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.